The Washington Commanders signed Terry McLaurin to a 3-year, $96 million deal, which ends his hold in, and now the Commanders are ready to attack week 1 of the NFL season with their full roster in less than 2 weeks. Scary Terry is back, and the Commanders are now a legitimate threat in their division with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants once again. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. McLaurin, Scary Terry. There are questions about him because the reason why this deal took so long to get done is because he is 30 years old, and he will be 31 years old on September 15th, which is an older age for a receiver to perform at a high level. And to give him $32 million a year with a $30 million signing bonus is asking a lot of a receiver, because now you expect him, as he's aging, to live up to this $32 million a year wide receiver, which right now would average about 7th among wide receivers in the NFL. But you take a look at McLaurin's statistics, Scary Terry's stats, and he is the definition of wide receiver consistency. In 2021, 1,053 yards, 5 touchdowns, 77 catches. 2022, 1,191 yards, 5 touchdowns, 77 catches. 2023, 1,002 yards, 4 touchdowns, 79 catches. And 2024, 1,096 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 82 catches. So, in Terry McLaurin's eyes, he said, I had 13 touchdowns last year. I had double-digit touchdowns, one of the highest in the league, which means that I should get more money based on the production and the success of our team last year. But the way that I see it, and the way that the Commanders see it, is the 13 touchdown year from Terry McLaurin was an outlier. And the reason why is you look at his 3 previous seasons before. His 13 touchdowns in 2024 was one less than his tally over his 3 previous seasons combined. In 2023, 2022, and 2021, Terry McLaurin had a combined of 14 touchdowns. And he almost matched that in 2024. So, in reality, McLaurin isn't going to score 13 touchdowns again in 2025. That number is going to fall back to the median. He's not going to get double-digit touchdowns this season. So, from the Commanders' side, they're trying to make these arguments to get that contract down a little bit, saying, hey, you had a great year last year. You had over 1,000 yards, but you aren't Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, who put up 1,500 to 1,600 yards a season. Because let's be honest about it. Terry McLaurin, as phenomenal as his 2024 season was, he is not the top echelon wide receiver in the league. And that's why the Commanders felt like they could pay him a little less. And that's why the holdout went down in the first place. And McLaurin wants top wide receiver money because of his year in 2024. But he is not as elite as those other guys. He had 1,000 yards for 4 straight years. The best receivers in the league are putting up 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 yards, 1,800 yard seasons. And the way that I look at this deal is McLaurin and Jayden Daniels need each other. It's like Batman and Alfred. Jayden Daniels is Batman, and Alfred is Terry McLaurin. Because there's no question that Jayden McDaniels is the MVP of the Washington Commanders roster. And based off what he did his rookie season, people are already putting Jayden Daniels in the top 5 quarterback spotlight. Because the first 3 QBs in the league are easy. You've got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. 3 easy picks. It could go either direction with who's 1, 2, or 3. But then you get to 4, Lamar Jackson, probably. And then you get to 5, and then it gets a little murkier. Who's 5? Is it Jayden Daniels? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it Jared Goff? Is it Matthew Stafford? 5 is the debatable quarterback, and some people have already put Jayden Daniels in that mix. And here's why Terry McLaurin is so important for Jayden McDaniels and the Commanders. And here's why the deal makes sense from both parties. 1, Jayden Daniels had one of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've seen in a long time. And when you have a phenomenal season like he did, what's everybody looking for in year 2? Is he going to regress? Is he going to live up to the hype that he created in year 1? And if Jayden Daniels wants to live up to the hype that he produced in year 1, that he created in year 1, he needs Terry McLaurin on the field. And so do the Commanders. If the Commanders want to get over the hurdle, they beat the Lions last year, but if they want to get over the hurdle of beating the Eagles in that phenomenal defense, they need their entire roster to do it. Because the Eagles have a juggernaut of a defense. And to have Jayden Daniels without Terry McLaurin is to have Batman without Alfred. Alfred's the one that told Batman where to go. He served the guy. And Terry McLaurin is the servant of Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels throws the ball. Terry McLaurin catches the ball. And to look at this deal objectively, yeah, it's $32 million a year. He's getting older. Will be 33 years old in a couple of years. And that's old to pay a guy $32 million a year. But here's why the deal is fair for both sides. The Commanders did not give him Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase money. But they gave him a good deal. They gave him that second tier wide receiver money. And what happens every single year is the NFL cap goes up every year because of the revenues the NFL brings in. So because the NFL cap goes up every year, when Terry McLaurin is 33 years old, this deal is not going to look as expensive as it does now because they'll have more cap space than they did this past season. So when you combine the fact that the Commanders need Scary Terry to catch passes from Jayden Daniels to avoid that regression, and the fact that the cap space is just going to go up as these years continue, this is the perfect deal for Terry McLaurin and the Washington Commanders. The only mistake that McLaurin made throughout this whole situation was this. It says, according to ESPN, McLaurin did not report to camp a week later and was fined for missing the first 4 days, a total of $200,000. He already had been fined $104,000 for missing the mandatory 3-day minicamp in June. Sure, $300,000 might be nothing, but it's certainly something. And he eventually reported and did his whole hold in thing. But why didn't you hold in to begin with and avoid the $200,000 fine? Why didn't you hold in during mandatory minicamp? Show up, fake an injury, avoid getting fined, keep all your money, and you still look like the good guy. Nobody criticizes a player for holding in because it at least shows some camaraderie, some love for his teammates and the organization. But when a player hauls out and is skipping practices and skipping this and skipping that, it paints that player in a bad light. And eventually he showed up because someone got into his ear and said, you need to at least show up and just hold in, fake an injury until you get your contract settled. And that's what he did. So he eventually made the right decision, but it took him a little while to get there. So this is one of those instances where it really is a perfect deal for Terry McLaurin and the Washington Commanders because it elevates the Commanders team to be a legitimate threat in their division with the Super Bowl winning champions. And it also elevates Jayden Daniels because everybody is looking for the regression. Is it going to be the same player? Is he going to produce? Because as much as we all love Jayden Daniels, I think there's a little side of NFL fans that hopes Jayden Daniels struggles a little bit to see the regression, to see the drama unfold. So to have Terry McLaurin back is a big deal because Jayden Daniels, also he's not surprising teams this year. Everybody's ready for him. There's no shock factor with Jayden Daniels. So he needs to be his best version of himself, and that best version of himself includes Terry McLaurin. And the Commanders know that, and the Commanders got the deal done. Great deal for both sides. Thanks for watching the show today. This was The Grind, a sports podcast. Hope you all have a wonderful day.